In today's video, we will go through the events of 2021's horror thriller Wrong Turn. Spoilers ahead, you have been warned. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment on what your favorite part was, and subscribe to our channel for more. Scott Shaw's daughter, Jen Shaw, has been missing for 6 weeks now. Scott arrives in a town nearby from where Jen had contacted him last. First, he goes to the police, but with little to no help. He arrives at the hotel Jen had stayed at to inquire, but doesn't get any answers from them as well. He then goes around the town's pub where he meets a strange man who tells him to give up searching for her. 6 weeks earlier, Jen and her boyfriend Darius, couples Adam and Mila and Gary and Louise, come to a small town in rural Virginia to hike. They stay at a hotel whose owner tells Jen not to go off the trail while hiking. That night, they go to a pub where they meet a stranger. The man gets into an argument with the group. When they are outside, someone is standing near their vehicle. Adam throws a bottle at him and the man disappears. The group doesn't think much of it. The following day, Jen goes for a run. On her way, she sees a woman selling handmade bracelets and buys one. The woman's daughter, named Ruthie, is there too. Later, the group leaves for the hike. On their way back, Darius suggests there is a Civil War fort somewhere nearby. He wants to visit it. Jen is doubtful of the idea, but Darius convinces her. But they do not reach the destination even after walking for hours. When they decide to go back to the trail, a massive log of wood rolls down the hill towards them. The group runs down the hill to save their lives. The log hits Gary, and he dies in the accident. The rest of them are injured too. Luis blames Darius for bringing them to the trail. He is devastated. Finally, they decide to leave and send back help when they reach the town. As they walk through the woods at night, it starts to rain. The group is now lost. They decide to camp there for the night. When they wake up in the morning, Mila has disappeared. All of their phones are gone too. Adam goes to search for Mila in the woods. The rest of them follow him. While they are at it, a chain pulls on Adam's leg and drags him into a trap hole on the ground. Others try to get him out, but retreat after they see a snake in there too. The group decides to look for help. They reach a building containing several belongings of people who had come to the mountain. Just then, they hear footsteps outside. Two horrifying-looking men donned in primitive clothing and wearing elk and deer skulls have restrained Adam and are taking him somewhere. The group jumps in to save Adam. The men talk in a foreign language and try to have a conversation with them, but the group doesn't understand. Then Adam comes back to consciousness and hits one of the men on his head with a wood log. When the man falls, he hits him continuously, finally killing him. The other man has disappeared. Just then, Mila comes out of the woods. She had seen the same men and hidden in the woods. Jen blames Adam for killing the man for nothing. They decide to tell that to no one. The group then continues to find a way out of the mountain. But Darius gets in a hunting trap and is hit by a spiky log. They treat his wound and continue the journey. Luis is behind the rest of the group and is abducted by one of the wild men. Then the men surround the group. Adam loses control and starts to run away. Mila goes behind him. When Darius and Jen notice the men, they run in a different direction. They hide in a cave but are abducted. Meanwhile, Mila falls into a trap while running behind Adam. She is impaled on sharpened tree branches. Her whole body is injured. Adam comes back to save her but runs away after seeing her condition. Mila begs for him to come back, but he doesn't. Instead, a wild man is there. As she begs him to save her, the man strikes her with an arrow and kills Mila. The following day, Jen wakes up in a pit. She is in her undergarments and her hands are tied. She screams for help when the lady she met while running in the town removes the pit's cover. Her name is Edith. She warns Jen to be quiet. Sometime later, the cover opens again. They give her some food and water and allow her to come up. The rest of the group is there too. They put a sack on all of their heads and take them to their civilization. Many people and houses surround them. Finally, they stop when they are inside a cave-like place. They are made to kneel to a throne. The head of the group, Venable, enters the place. This is his court and the group is there as criminals for trial. One of the men named Hobbs says he had seen the group in the town. He was the one near the group's car that night at the pub. Someone else named Morgan says that Adam had killed his brother. He and his brother Samuel had found Adam in one of their hunting traps. He was injured, so the duo decided to help him when they encountered the group. But then Adam had woken up and killed Samuel. Venable asks Jen if what Morgan was saying is true, but she denies the claim. Then they ask the little girl Ruthie about Samuel's murderer. She points at Adam again. Jen tries to argue that it was self-defense, but Venable dismisses her. Adam is sentenced to death. He loses control. Somehow managing to free his hands from the rope, he takes Ruthie hostage. He threatens everyone to let him go, but Ruthie stabs his legs and frees herself. The rest of the group is then sentenced to darkness. They cover their heads again and take them outside. Jen, Darius, and Luis are made to kneel while Adam is laid down in front of them. According to the rule of the Foundation, one who has murdered has to be killed in a similar way he has committed his crime. Venable stands in front of Adam with the same log Adam used to kill Samuel. Venable then hits him on his head several times to finally kill him. The rest of the group is mortified. Now it is their turn to get punished. Those who are punished to darkness get their eyes poked with a hot knife and put into a dark prison with little to no food. Venable successfully blinds Luis, but when it comes to Darius, Jen starts blabbering about how he could be helpful to their community. Darius works in a nonprofit which helps to build sustainable homes and neighborhoods to be self-sufficient. Jen convinces Venable to let Darius help them and their community, but he asks Jen what she can do for their community. Jen offers herself. She is healthy and can breed children. The Foundation accepts her offer. Venable warns them that they will end up in the cave with others if they do not contribute. The people there accept them happily. Jen is taken to a room when she realizes that she is the wife of Venable now. His former wife had died a year ago. Now, Jen and Darius owe their life to the Foundation. Back home, Jen's father, Scott, is worried about his daughter. She hasn't called him for weeks. Jen's stepmother tells him to focus on their sons instead. After 6 weeks of Jen not calling him, Scott decides to go to the town searching for her. But the people of the town are of no help. Even the police dismiss his concerns. Scott is at the pub when the hotel's owner, Reggie, joins him. She tells him she is sorry about his daughter and her friends, but he should give up now. Anyone who goes to the mountain never comes back. This intrigues Scott. He is finally getting valuable information. She tells him about the people living in the mountains. They are called the Foundation. Everyone in the town knows about them, but no one dares to talk. The Foundation started in 1859 when a few dozen people from the town fled to the mountains to protect their way of living. They feared the collapse of America. And when that happened, their main goal was to build a new America with their foundation in the center. They abduct anyone who disrupts their way of living. When Scott leaves to go to his hotel room, many drunk men from the pub beat him. They want him gone from the town because they think he will rupture the peace. Scott aids his injuries and the next day leaves for the mountain. Reggie tells him to reconsider his idea, but Scott is ready to risk his life for his daughter. Reggie then takes him to two other men of the town. They offer to help him because they are sick of the Foundation too. Ed is Reggie's nephew and a hunter. Ed and his son leave for the mountains with Scott. In their way, Ed sees a hunter's trap. As they examine it, he falls into another trap. A huge log with spikes falls onto them. Both Ed and his son are killed. Luckily, Scott manages to survive. He continues the search and finally reaches the community of the Foundation. He sneaks in slowly, but is caught by the people. Darius stands in front of him. Scott asks him for help, but Darius doesn't respond. Then an arrow shoots Scott on his shoulder. His own daughter Jen has shot it. The Foundation has brainwashed both Darius and Jen. They are a part of it now. Venable sentences Scott to life in darkness for trespassing. Scott asks Jen for help, but she says that she is not his daughter anymore. That night, Venable and Jen are on his bed when he asks her if she feels sad for her dad, but she dismisses it and seduces Venable. Later at night, she sneaks out of the room and to her dad. She had posed to shoot him with an arrow to save both of them. If she had shown mercy for him, the Foundation would have killed her too. Jen gets him out of the trap and rushes to get Darius, but Darius refuses to go with her. According to him, he has found his people and wants to live with them for the rest of his life. She kisses Darius goodbye and runs away to the dark room to get Luis. One of the men sees her there, but Jen shoots him dead. The cave-like room is pitch black and is filled with prisoners that have been sentenced to darkness. They are incredibly malnourished. She finds Luis in a corner and shoots him dead out of mercy. When they come out of the cave, the men have found them. Ruthie helps them escape the community. They run through the woods while being followed by the Foundation. Edith attacks the duo. Jen kills her as well. Finally, Scott carries Jen out of the woods. Both of them are heavily injured. The men from the town earlier point their guns at them, but they are there to help. They hate the Foundation for taking their relatives. All of them fight the people together and leave the place in a car. A few months later, Jen is back to normal. She lives happily with her father, stepmother, and two brothers. But one day, she comes to her house to find Venable sitting at the dining table with Ruthie. Her family is there too. Jen is also pregnant with Venable's child. She tells him that she will go back with him to the Foundation if he promises to leave her family alone. He then takes her outside and sits her in an RV vehicle with other men of the Foundation. As they drive away, we see the car swerve and get into an accident. Two of the men run outside. Jen runs after them and stabs both of them to death. Ruthie comes out of the vehicle. The movie ends as we see Jen and Ruthie walking back to their home together. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and comment on the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel to see more of these movie summaries.